Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are returning. Today is our daily color and I am starting on the Kelp page, as I call it, because these little round things are bulbs and these are long green, flat, wavy kelp grass. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and indeed I did swim in the Puget Sound, which was very cold, but of course I was a kid and didn't know any better, and I got to deal with these pretty much all the time. When the tide is out, they're like all over the ground. They are a very glossy, slick plant, pretty treacherous aquatic plant, and today I am going to be replicating them to the best I can given how small they are. And I will be doing what I said, which is using the Polychromos today. My Polychromos have been, that's the oldest, the Albrecht Dürer I owned longer than these. After I bought the 60 Albrecht Dürer, I then purchased the 120 Polychromos. I cannot read the little gold letters and numbers, so ages ago I made little labels and then I taped every single label on with Scotch tape. So that will help me, has always helped me rather, be able to read these. So I see that I am starting with India Red and olive green yellowish. That's 192 and 173. I have quite an array of colors, and I will add them to the description of today's video, as I always do. And I am going to be starting with the deepest colors, working to the light. There is, I'm not sure how long or how far I will get today, because there's so much detail and it's all so small. Now I do only have to do one half with you guys, and then I will complete the other half on my own time, and we will move on to the three fish on the next page. I was curious if colorists had colored these using a more realistic color palette, or if they had done a more fantasy color palette, and I could not find a single full color version of this page. I found a whole bunch of the three fish on the right page, but this particular page I typed kelp, seaweed, anything I could think of to bring this up, including the small Victories, Johanna Basford, all of those things, and I never could get a single colored page to come up. If you have colored this page and you've posted it somewhere, I would love for you to leave a comment so I can see how you chose to color this. So, not having any fanciful ideas, I looked up kelp, and that is what I am going by, is coloring somewhat from memory as well as photos that are posted on, I did Google Images. So we'll see how well I do. Now I was having a problem yesterday sitting up. I did the weekly color, and I had a heck of a time with focus issues, which when I'm sitting down here I have not had, which is weird because the day before I had spent the entire day working on a monthly video I do that is very time consuming, and I didn't have any problems with that. So since I only get one shot at this, we will see how it turns out. I do have my light. I'm going to brighten it up a little bit so I can see better. I have all of my polys sharpened. I will probably work in clumps and then we'll just move on once I finish an area. I do have some reading glasses, should I need them. The difficulty that I see I'm going to be having is that these little tiny triangles are going to be the water, and there's a lot of those little tiny spaces to deal with, but I figure I can do the best I can and then go away. And clean it up if I need to. So kelp, there's two kinds of kelp that I'm familiar with, and these are the kind of kelp that makes like large grapes in a very thick, rubbery, glossy surface, and they are like an olive green to an amber. So I'm going to be using an array of colors to simulate how they look, and underwater they look even more amber than green. And you can indeed explode them, as I found out and did when I was a kid, and they just have liquid inside them. I believe kelp is readily edible. I know it's very salty, at least it smells very salty to me, but no, I have not ever tried to consume them. Now I'm trying to get a hint of green going. And I haven't been telling you these colors, have I? This is May Green 170. I see Hub outside working on something for the neighbor. We'll see if he needs my help or not. I am hoping not. So one of the things I am going to be doing to give the appearance of a shiny, glossy surface, is leave a portion of these bulb-shaped, kind of like grapes. I will be leaving some of them uncolored. I have one, well actually two luminance pencils that I typically pair up with the Polychromos on other projects, and that is the white and the buff titanium. I'm going to refer to my original mock-up. I had to mock this one up. I am now introducing Naples Yellow 185. Tonight, I love how easy that is to read. One of the best things I am discovering by coloring every day is I am learning how to be quicker with my decisions of what to do, and I'm coloring faster. I don't care if I color somewhat slow. It's like it's not a race by any means, but I definitely have the tendency to get too engrossed in what I'm doing. And images this small, you just don't need to be getting into that much detail. So here is a nice basic set of colors. I like how it looks. It's got the amber with a little hint of green, like an olivey green. So I am going to now let's work on this piece of kelp, which means, oh, and I didn't tell you, this is Terracotta 186. This is one of my shorter pencils. I do use the Terracotta and the Sanguine quite often. And now I'm going to go back to my dark color being India Red 192, and I am going to start at the base of this long tendril of kelp. There's going to be, again, quite an array of colors even for this kelp. And I will be starting with where it's coming out from behind the berries, the kelp berries we will call them. And then I'm using the olive green yellowish 173. I am going up through the center with this dark color. I can tell I'm getting warm, so I'll probably pause for a moment. So I've got my undertones of the green as well as the deep amber color that I want to have follow through. This again right here is the spine, and it is at least a quarter, almost a half an inch thick, so I'm finding that I have to hold it down. It's probably the most annoying part to me about coloring in a coloring book, is dealing with the spine. All right, I will pause really quick and be right back. All right, I have zoomed in a little bit more so you can focus on my very tiny coloring area since everything is so small. So where the berries are amber colored with a hint of the olive tones, the kelp is definitely a very yellowy green. So with the hints of amber that I've already established on the edges. So I'm doing a very light almost no pressure layer of the May green, which I already had used before, and then I am going to go one lighter to the cadmium lemon yellow 205. I need to put on my reading glasses. Okay. So this is a very limey yellow green. It is, did I already say what it is? Cadmium yellow lemon 205. I can't remember if I told you that. And there will be some highlights on the kelp as well, so I won't be filling it all the way in. Next is Naples Yellow 185. I'm going in with a little more pressure now. And I want to have some more hints. This is the terracotta again, 186. Hints of the amber. And this is coming from behind the little kelp grapes. All right, so that for now is how I want to start this off. So I'm going to be moving on to this next kelp that's coming from behind. And really, all this whole area, all of this is all the little berries, and then all of the front here is all of the longer kelp pieces. I am doing the two darkest colors. This is the olive green yellowish 173 to start off blocking in the shaded spaces. Let's go over here and darken this up a bit. I do also have my Museum Aquarelle White. It is a water color pencil. I am not sure if I will need it. I also have acrylic white marker here in my Lazy Susan as well. I don't know if we will get to that point today. That was the Cadmium Yellow Lemon 205. So I'm just building up my layers and colors here. I'm now going to go over with Naples Yellow, but I am not yet going to do Naples Yellow. That knocks back my green, and my green is May Green 170. So you're just going to see it's a rinse and repeat. I will be working through all of these kelp bits. This is a very smooth paper. And probably, I'm thinking I want the shadows to be even darker. I will probably come back with a dark gray. I will look to see if there is a greenish gray, perhaps. Unless I can get in here like this. This is my darkest color I have out, and it is the olive green yellowish. I also do have a few erasers. I am thinking this is too much of the russet color. It went on too thick. I would like to come back in with a lighter tone. And then get to the Naples yellow to soften this green. It says it's a May green, but it kind of looks like apple green to me. All right, so I'm going to be switching. I want to try to give you guys an idea of what my overall plan is. So now I'm going to do some coral. No, scarlet red. That was the wrong red. So I need the scarlet red is my light red, and dark red. So I will start with the scarlet. I have not figured out a coloring plan for the fish or the shells yet. This is dark red. I see a berry that I missed. Let's see if we can block that in before we forget. And that is right back here. This is a berry that's behind this one. Oops, you couldn't see that. There's a berry hiding right back here. All right, so I think I have all of the berries. I believe this is a berry right here as well. I need to get a little red on that. Okay, and I want to continue on to give you all of the tidbits. I'm going to move this my way a bit. Just checking my focus. I can't see it very well. All right, so now I am going to the water tone. There were two water tones. You have the sort of turquoise aqua colors, or the other colors were navy, a cold blue. And so Indian Throne blue 247 is my darkest. And I am going to go into all these little triangles. It's so strange to be using Polychromos, which is one of my reference pencils that when I'm using a budget pencil, I'll say that feels like a Pablo. This feels like a Polychromos. This feels like a Prismacolor. So the Polychromos pencils they feel like polychromos. All right, so I hope this gives you an idea of what my plan is going to be for this entire image. I'm going to go ahead and keep going out with the water because I have 3 other tones. Let's set that down. Next lightest for the water. I don't have my number. My number popped off. 153 Cobalt Turquoise. My next lighter tone that I have is Cobalt Green 156. To go back in and darken that up a tad. So what I'm thinking is, after I finish, we're already at 30 minutes, but I'm giving you an idea of what we've got, and I can work on some of the repetitive items so that tomorrow we will do the fish, these little fan. So we have fish, fan, little filigree, and a shell. And I think the filigree is going to be a metallic. I have 2 more lighter tones to work with. I already gave you the name of this color. I think it was cobalt green. Yeah. Hub just walked in, so I'm gonna see if he needs something from me. All right, Hub is settled. He had to share with something that he got with me. And now we're still on the second darkest color, cobalt green still. I have not moved. So I'm gonna finish this one quadrant. I'm going to then, between today and tomorrow, I am going to finish all of the kelps, same colors, same exact plan, as well as the coral and the water. And I will come back tomorrow with a plan for the fish, the fans, and the shells. Okay, so I can go lighter. I have 1 color lighter that we can go. These feel wonderfully familiar, creamy, smooth. It's not like you can accidentally put a dark line that you can't fix. That's what I experienced with 2 of the sets that I worked on the last couple weeks, the Spirifarbens and the Artistos. Are very sensitive to pressure, where these are, I mean, it might be that they are somewhat sensitive to pressure, but I am very used to them. Oh yeah, my lightest color is light cobalt turquoise 154. So this will complete the ombre water background. I might add some shadowing. I think the water bubbles are going to be stickles of some variety. So there, I'm gonna see if you can see the whole segment, and I have enough time that I am going to rotate my Lazy Susan back over to the kelp, and I'm gonna finish this tendril of kelp. I guess these are technically the kelp berries. The more complete I can get this section, which will be what I model the rest of the sections after. And I'm a little bit nervous of not coloring the other half until a later time, because this is so dainty, delicate, that I may even color the other half tonight. I don't have anything going on this week except for my normal exercise stuff. So that way I'm not up against the time crunch of the Sunday weekly color, which I'm now going to be doing either Saturday night or Sunday to post on Sunday. I have always wanted it to be that I didn't extend into the next week, but I've kind of been building this series as I go, so it took a little bit of effort before I got all the pieces lined up. Okay, so I need to go and add the hint of yellow. It is a good thing that these pencils get nice and sharp. When I saw all the details, I knew that this would be a great candidate for the Polychromos to make easy work of this very detailed drawing. All right, so continuing on, we still have time. I'm going to go back to, there's these two kelp pieces that are actually a part of this, and then I see that I can fill in a little bit more of my coral, the red coral. These red bits I need to flesh out a little bit more. Out our deepest orangey red, India Red 192. That green that I finished was my darkest, and that is olive green yellowish 173. Back to the orange yellowish, orange, listen to me, olive green yellowish. When I am drawing nature and animals, I like to follow whatever the, rather than always going in circular motions, I try to figure out if there's a grain or a hair structure, something that tells me what direction other than ovals I should be going, so that I replicate what the natural material direction is. Okay, so now we're going to be able to go into the lighter. I am starting with my lightest green cadmium yellow lemon 205. I'm just blocking in some of these lightest tones. How are we doing for time? 41 minutes. I'm getting quite a bit done. Okay, now I'm going in with my yellow, which is Naples Yellow, 185. I am now going to grab my terracotta. Nope, that's sanguine. I'm going to use terracotta because that's what I have been. Oh, that's not it. Oh, here it is. And I have May Green. I'm going back through though, giving it a little more amber tone. There we go. I need to darken these ends up a little bit as well. I said May Green. We're at 43 minutes. I said I was going to finish the red, didn't I? I'm just adding really light so that it isn't so white. And we're at 44 minutes. So what else can I do here that I have? Oh yeah, I wanted to come back in and darken up the base of these. Like so. All right, so I have a bunch of homework to do tonight to keep this image going. I'm gonna, before I leave, there we go. I wanted you to see my little completed section. So I'm just going to be repeating that. I have this other side to do, and then a couple of extra kelp pieces, and then all the way back to the middle. I'll work all the way back and get all of that finished, and that's where we will start tomorrow for our daily color. And I can't really tell if that all was in focus. I'm all paranoid now, so I hope that it is in focus, or I have to figure out what is going on with the camera focus. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all tomorrow to finish off the rest of this fine seaweed kelp image.